The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
The headliners in the sport of gymnastics. Style. Many expect to see great things from him in Barcelona later this year. Today from Phoenix, Arizona, teams from the U.S. and Japan meet in the 1992 Dodge Challenge.
Music wouldn't work. After some discussion, through an interpreter, the pianist composed the music as he watched her perform. The two have actually remained very good friends since then. Nancy now teaches gymnastics in Portland, Oregon, and is the proud mother of two. Well, today it's gymnastics again. American gymnasts meet athletes from Japan in the Dodge Challenge. So let's join John Neighbor, Bart Connor, and Kathy Johnson in Phoenix.
Hello and welcome to the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum, site of the Dodge Challenge, USA versus Japan in the sport of gymnastics. Hi everyone, I'm John Neighbor, and although these two teams have not met in dual meet competition in over a decade, perhaps you might be expecting them to compete simultaneously on all the apparatus. Well, our new format allows each team, 6 men and 6 women, to alternate turns on a single piece of equipment as they move around the floor. And Kathy Johnson, this new format should allow us to emphasize the differences between the teams.
John, it allows for a very dramatic head-to-head competition since there will be direct comparison on each event. The U.S. team really is the better team here, but they have a lot more at stake than just beating the Japanese. They're all involved in the Olympic trials process, and these are the gymnasts that are vying for those final few coveted spots on the Olympic team. We have Michelle Campy, who won a silver medal at the World Championships last year in the team competition, and Wendy Bruce, who's coming back from 2 years of injuries and making a terrific comeback. And of course, we have two hot shots, Heidi Hornbeek and Dominique Dawes, and I believe we can really expect a lot from them here.
And you know, we can certainly expect a much closer contest in the men's action. Bart Connor, when you talk about gymnastics, the tradition in the sport, the Japanese team has been dominant in 2 of the last 3 decades. What can we expect here?
Well, the Japanese team has given us so many great champions over the past 30 years. People like Yukio Endo, Mitsuo Sukahara, and the 1984 Olympic all-around champion Koji Gushikin. Now, this team, although they don't dominate as they used to, they were the 3rd place team in the 84 Olympics as well as the 88 Olympics. This Japanese team is expected to challenge for a medal in Barcelona. Now, leading this team is Koichi Mizushima, who scored a perfect 10 in the Seoul Olympics. He's one to watch for. For the American men, Jared Hanks is the leader of this team. He won the Winter Nationals and he won the recent American Cup gymnastics competition. And for the American men, this is an important contest because they're currently ranked 5th in the world. The Japanese team is ranked 4th in the world. So a victory here for the American men could be a very important psychological boost as they head into Barcelona.
Well, Bart, after the first 4 of 6 rotations, the USA and Japanese men are tied. Tim Ryan is leading the all-around competition after 4 rotations. In the early rounds, Jared Hanks got Team USA off to an early lead.
And Jared showed a terrific combination of powerful tumbling, as you see here, and also some impressive strength work. This is an original sequence that Jared does from the shoulder roll up to a plunge. And then watch this, he presses on up to the handstand. This routine earned him a 9.75 and gave the U.S. a 0.25 lead over the Japanese after the first rotation. Now in the next rotation, Takashi Chinen of Japan scored a 9.85 on the pommel horse, showing some incredible one pommel work and a very big finish through the handstand. That closed the gap between the two teams. But the U.S. was not to be outdone. In this rotation, following a 9.75 by teammate Trent Demas, Jared Hanks ended the rotation by scoring a 9.85, thus enabling the U.S. to double their lead over Japan.
So after the Florex and the pommel horse, the United States was up by half a point, and then disaster struck in the 3rd event, the still rings competition.
Trent Demas had all sorts of problems on the still rings, was only able to score a 9.3, and unfortunately, that set the tone for the rest of the U.S. team as David St. Pierre got a 9.15, all-around leader Jared Hanks only a 9.2. Tim Ryan's 9.85 was the only bright spot for the U.S. in that rotation. The Japanese, however, had a great event on the rings. Toshiharu Sato, the last performer for the steady Japanese team, scored a 9.75, and in doing so, pulled his team ahead in the competition.
Now the fourth rotation was the vault, and the Americans rallied well to tie it up. Now we enter the fifth round of competition. It's the parallel bars, and you're watching Trent Demas as he mounts the apparatus. He's currently 8th in the all-around.
The U.S. needs a strong performance from Trent Demas here because Tim Ryan, the all-around leader coming into this rotation, he had a disastrous performance on the parallel bars, got only a 9.15. So this is an important moment for the U.S. team. Trent has a very interesting routine. His long body line is very impressive on parallel bars. This is the best part of his routine coming up here. The final sequence, that move is called a Diamond-off. He does 2 in a row. Well done. The finish will be a piked double back somersault. Nice landing. Strong routine for the U.S.
And he knows it too. Trent Demas had some disappointments earlier on, but he seems to be back on track, and the USA squad is giving the Japanese a challenge.
This is the Diamond-off, invented by the famous Russian gymnast many years ago. 2 of them in a row. Very clean form, good body line. The dismount is a double backflip. Notice his legs are straight. That's the piked position. Great landing.
So a 9.75 puts a little pressure on, because that puts the United States into a strong lead with 1 performance remaining, and that's Toshiharu Sato. We saw him take Japan into the lead on the still rings. He now has to do it again on the P-bars.
Sato is an interesting story. The fact that he's even here competing is amazing. A year and a half ago, he severely tore some muscles in his right arm in a car accident, returning from a ski trip. He has an exciting routine. Watch that move right there. Oh, a little shaky in the handstand. Nice combination. The Japanese are known for such a classic presentation of their gymnastics. Nice style, always good rhythm. It's just a little loose with his form, but a great landing.
He needs a 9.75 to keep tied with the United States. He seems to be pleased with that performance.
And this is the best part of the routine. This is the front 1 3/4 somersault. There's a tremendous amount of force coming down right here as he catches the bars on his upper arms. He finishes with a straddle cut, swing handstand pirouette. Good combination. Just a little loose in that handstand. That'll be a slight deduction.
Well, the judges' marks for Sato show a 9.75. Boy, this is going to be great. The 2 teams are tied as they go to the final round. The horizontal bar coming up when we return to the Dodge Challenge. The top 2 spots, Americans are in 3rd and tied for 4th. You know, with the political and economic tensions increasing, we asked the athletes if it affected their competition.
It doesn't affect me at all. As a matter of fact, athletes are athletes. I've been around the world and competed with, you know, every athlete from every country in the world, and it's never been a problem. It's always been, we compete against each other as friends, and after the competition we can shake each other's hand and everything's fine. It's not politics, and it's good.
According to the information I got before we came over, people don't have a good feeling about Japan, mainly because of the trade imbalance between the 2 countries. Whatever they do, I hope the thing will work out all right, and a lot of peace and prosperity will come to these 2 countries.
I don't necessarily feel it, but I think it's very important for us to do well in this competition, not only because the Japanese are ranked 4th and we're ranked 5th in the world, but it would be a great statement for America and American gymnastics to beat the Japanese here.
Well, clearly a rivalry does exist on the floor of competition. Next up, the high bar, and we've watched Toshiharu Sato do so well for his team in the last couple of events. He's 1st in the all-around competition. This is his last chance, and he's got a birthday party to look forward to after the competition's over. He turns 23 today.
This is his best event. Watch this move coming up here. The Kovacs. Oh, he's in a little close. He kips back up into the giant swings. Now here comes a sequence with 2 other release moves. Reverse hecht to a Ginger. Really well done. The judges require the gymnast to perform release moves. This sequence here is an inverted giant swing. That's a requirement. Here comes the dismount. Double layout with one twist. Oh, good landing.
So the all-around leader has a big performance here. He's the second to last Japanese performer in the rotation. Top 5 of the 6 team scores will carry.
Here's a close-up angle of the Kovacs. It's a double backflip over the bar, and notice how close he is when he regrasps the bar. He cannot swing the giant swing out of it as he had hoped, but he does a good job in continuing with the exercise. This is a very impressive combination of release moves. The reverse hecht back over the bar. The second one is a ginger, a backflip with a half twist. Perfect.
And so the official marks for Sato a 9.80, a great score at this point in the competition, and that perpetuates his lead in the all-around action. And that certainly would be a happy birthday present indeed. Coming into this competition, American Jared Hanks is the top-ranked gymnast in the country. We asked him if he likes being in this position.
Yeah, I definitely like it a lot. Puts a different sort of pressure on me, though. You know, everyone wants to beat me now in this country. And I think as long as I don't look back and wonder what they're doing and just keep my mind focused on what I'm doing, then I'll be okay. You know, a lot of times people tend to worry about the other guy, but you can't do that in this sport.
Welcome back, Jared.
Certainly right now, all he can worry about is his final performance in the Dodge Challenge, and it needs to be perfect if he wants to win the all-around competition, but clearly his main goal is to contribute points to the team battle.
Jared got a 9.2 on the still rings today. Other than that weak performance, his scores have been somewhere between 9.65 and 9.85. Here comes his release. A reverse hecht into giants. The second one right into a ginger. 3 release moves. Well done. It's an eagle giant swing, one of the requirements. His dismount will be a laid out double flip with 2 twists. Here it comes. Well done.
Jared Hanks, the 22-year-old from Lafayette, Louisiana. Big points, and hopefully we'll try to move him up from 3rd place in the all-around.
This is once again a great angle at the release move. He does the reverse hecht over the bar, right to the ginger. The second one right in combination. Very smooth. The dismount is 2 flips and 2 twists. Notice the beautiful body position in the air, just 1 step on the landing.
So a solid performance by Hanks should help him in the all-around competition. The official marks 9.85. Great score. The Americans are still in it for the team title. Final 2 performers when we return. A perfect 10 at the last Olympics in the pommel horse during the team competition, and their team needs a big score from him now.
He was certainly a big star in the '88 Olympics. Today, he's been rather inconsistent, following up one good routine with a bad routine. This is a big release move, a reverse hecht. Now he has a second release move coming up here. It's the Gaylord 1, invented by Mitch Gaylord from the U.S. team. There it is. Oh! Well, it looks like he's okay.
Looks like he hit a little hard on his arm there.
Yeah, looks like he hyperextended his elbow. Let's see what happens. He pulls it over just too far. Actually, he's very close to making that, but there's a tremendous amount of pressure through the bottom when you re-grab the bar. Let's take a look at how close his hands are to re-grasping. Look how far that bar bends. There's the 1 3/4 front over the bar. He reaches in. Looks like he's in pretty good shape, but he just peels off right as the pressure starts to catch him as he goes through the bottom. You take a ½ point deduction for that fall, and you continue the exercise from that point. And all he has left is the dismount here, but unfortunately, that was a really major deduction for the Japanese team.
Well, a solid landing. So far, the Japanese first 5 performers have scored nothing worse than a 9.425. So anything lower than that will get dropped. You see the trainers immediately coming over to address the needs of Mizushima's right elbow. As Trent Demas, the final American, is mentally rehearsing his performance. All America's hopes rest on his shoulders. And the score for Mizushima is a 9.25, and that will not count. They won't count that score overall, so that means that the United States needs to score at least a 9.30 on this final performance to win the team championship. A lot of pressure on this man's shoulders.
Well, Trent is a huge high bar performer. He really does what I call a big routine. The moves are big and high and just very, very exciting. Interesting combination at the beginning of the exercise with the Stalder work, but the big moves come up here. This is the first one. It's a double over the bar. Look at the height. Oh, he had a little trouble there, actually. He went over the bar on that kip cast. A slight break in rhythm. Reverse hecht to a Ginger. Nice combination. Eagle giant swing. All he has left is the triple back. Watch how high this is. There it is. Oh! Now with a fallback like that, that's a major deduction. It'll be interesting to see what the judges do with that routine.
Does that fall penalize him as much as the fall from Mizushima the previous time?
No, not quite as much, but the whole exercise was very clean. We said he needed more than a 9.3. That's going to put it quite close to that score. This is a double over the bar. Beautiful form in the air. He came in too close and couldn't swing the giant swing that he normally does, and he kipped and cast it over. That was not how he planned that, but not a severe deduction. Notice once again how close he is. His arms are bent, and he cannot continue the swing, so he has to kip there and go back into the giant swings.
And so Trent Demas awaits his marks, 9.55. Not a great score, but good enough to win for the United States of America. A team title comes on the hands of the youngest member of the men's squad. They win 288.5 to 288.25. In the all-around competition, Sato wins. Hanks moves to second place. The women on the U.S. team enjoyed an afternoon of fun and frolic at a place called Splash Park here in Phoenix earlier this week. When we come back, the ladies get serious as the U.S. and Japanese women go head-to-head in the 1992 Dodge Challenge.